evening, everyone. My name is Carol Selgrad, and I'm part of the Deerfield Parent Network board, and we are so thrilled that you're here tonight for the presentation our panelists will provide on parenting a smooth transition to the high school. And we'll have some people coming in. I know parking with our wonderful new facility here is at a little bit more premium, but it's all good. So what I wanted to do is to, for those of you who don't know what Deerfield Parent Network is about, I wanted to provide you that information, tell you a little bit about us, how you can support us, and how you can use our resources in the years ahead. If you were like me, I got dragged to a Deerfield Parent Network meeting a few years back and enjoyed the presentation, but didn't know how it connected with the schools. Was it funded through the schools? Was it part of a PTO? And it was great, but just a little confusing. So I've just in the last year become a board member and figured out how that all sort of works. And I keep saying, I think we should tell people because I don't think everybody knows. So is anyone here really familiar with Deerfield Parent Network? You've come to some of our events, meetings. Okay, we have a few board members raising their hands. Okay, all board members. How many of you feel that you're not quite sure what Deerfield Parent Network is about exactly? Okay, super. So my remarks are to you. Deerfield Parent Network, or DPN, is an independent, parent-run organization maintaining the same message over the years to increase communication among parents. And our true goal, is to provide parents with the tools that they need to teach their children to make safe and healthy choices as they grow from youngsters into adults. Each year, DPN, or Deerfield Parent Network, offers parents an array of free, expert-led educational programs and an open forum to share ideas with other parents. We offer large community run events such as the Race to Nowhere film, if you heard about that or saw our posters up. The Ken Ginsberg, we had him speak on building resilience in children and teens. And Jean Kilborn, we just sponsored to come 2 weeks ago to present on her newest book, So Sexy, So Soon. And she's got a great website that you can go to if you missed that presentation. We offer smaller, age-specific presentations, such as the one you're attending tonight, because this is where you're at right now, this transitioning from 8th grade to the high school, and you want to do it well. We also have sponsored something for sophomores, junior parents, and their teens about distracted driving, setting good examples by putting your cell phone in the back seat, all kinds of things like that, or preparing for the college journey. We have lots of monthly activities. We also have a website now with links to other resources. And the question is always, who exactly are you guys, and how do you run this Deerfield Parent Network? Deerfield Parent Network enjoys really excellent cooperation with District 109, 112, and 113. The elementary schools, the middle schools, Holy Cross, Bannockburn School, Solomon Schechter Day School, all have representatives on our board as well. We have our own bylaws, we have our monthly meetings, we have community-wide programs. We're all volunteers. And our board members are, stand up, some of them are here today, so you can see they're your friends, your neighbors, people you want to get to know. Very nice folks. We operate independently of the schools and their PTOs, including Deerfield High School, which is a little confusing when you see this logo, because that's the warrior logo of the high school. We're not part of the high school. We're a parent organization. They let us use a mailbox there, which is nice now, and they link their website. We have a website of our own now, so they're offering us less support, and we're more on our own. So if you have an interest in coming to our board meetings or helping out, we would love to talk to you. DPN no longer uses the term member or membership when we're talking about people who come to our meetings or give us support. Anyone who has a child or children in the community at large, you're considered a member of DPN. You're included. There's no fee to join. There's never a fee to attend our programming. You waiting for the however? However, we do appreciate and we absolutely need your financial support. It costs money to secure the large, big-name speakers for our community-wide program. So if you're grateful for our efforts on putting panels together, recruiting big-name speakers who are relevant to what you want to know and hear about, a donation of any size throughout the year. We're not going to, hold you captive. This is not a timeshare type of thing where you're not leaving until you sign up. But most of our, really, it comes down to your support by attending our events, bringing a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, and thinking about a financial contribution. Most of our supporters give maybe $25 to $50 a year, which figures to be about 7 cents to 14 cents a day. So if you can swing that, we'd love to have it. You can donate via our website now. There's a link to PayPal, check, cash. Think about it. That's all we ask, is just think about it. Everyone is going to want you to contribute. As you get to the high school, everybody's going to want your money. And it's all good. It's all good. And it's great if you can financially support some of the efforts. There'll be the boosters, which is great, especially if you have kids in sports. There's Friends of the Arts, if you have kids in music programs or dance, to name a few. And when you contribute to those organizations, and you'll get to know all of the acronyms, FOA and boosters and all of that, when you contribute to those organizations, you often see a tangible result, such as a better concession stand or costumes at the show. When you contribute to Deerfield Parent Network, you often don't come home with a something that you can hold on to, but you come home with ideas, and you come home with something to consider integrating into your family. Ways of, having tools in the parenting toolbox. And you may not see the results of those things and what you sort of unpack at home and what you decide to use for a year, 2 years, 5, or 10 years when your kids are fully launched. But we're hoping that you'll at least consider supporting our organization so we can continue to offer the kind of programming that you would like. So thank you so much for your attention. And I will introduce our moderator, who is Holly Aronson. And Holly is a parent. She's on the Deerfield Parent Network board. She is our representative on the board from Shepherd Middle School. Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to just take a moment to introduce the panel and introduce the other members of the middle school Deerfield Parent Network representatives. So I'm Holly Aronson. The other representative from Shepherd couldn't be here tonight, Lisa Schwartz. We have 2 representatives from Caruso, Michelle Culver, who was handing out the handouts, and Jeanette Sampson, who will serve as moderator. I'm going to introduce her. So let me take a moment and introduce, thank you, the members of the panel that will be speaking to us all about the smooth transition to DHS. We have from Caruso, Beatrice Revlin, our parent, Rhonda Linder, DHS parent and counselor extraordinaire, Glynis Hirsch, Director of Activities at DHS, Brian Verisario, and we brought 2 students, freshmen Braden Hagerman and Stella Zell. And Jeanette.
Yes. Are you also a freshman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, both freshmen.
Okay.
So hopefully they will be able to get you all ready and feel so comfortable to have a smooth transition. Here's Jeanette.
Awesome. I will direct this kind of to anybody, but maybe this is relevant to both of us most. How does middle school prepare students for DHS?
Well, a couple things that we do at middle school, specifically to get them ready for their classes, is that we help with the course recommendations. We take into account how they've done in their classes over the few years at middle school, and then also their math scores and other tests that they've taken. So a lot goes into the recommendations, so the class is really a good fit, and the student sees great progress and is successful. That's really the key, that they see success in the freshman class that they've signed up. Another way that we assist, again, in that transition is that we... Sorry.
In the 7th grade.
My dog's
Another way would be that we meet with at DHS and share really some information about every single student, some of the things that we learn, what works, what doesn't work with the students. In other words, kind of sharing the ins and outs and nuances. So every student has, DHS has something about each student, so it's not like a stranger walks into the building. DHS knows a little bit about that. And the information that we share there is what has worked, what hasn't, in the sense of academics, if there have been some hiccups in their lives at the middle school, things that have worked and have not. And so DHS is a little bit aware of what is coming their way, and they know what we have tried and what we've done to help the student, and that also helps with the transition. And Caruso and Shepherd also does pride themselves in helping the students learn some skills. Skills in managing time, skills in balancing academics and other activities that they might be involved in. And I think that's still an ongoing process as students join more and more activities at DHS, but at least they've started to put in their little bag of goodies as to what they can do and try out. So I think we help them in that sense with the organization and independence as well.
That's great. There's a half-day transition to Deerfield High School. What will they do there? What will they learn?
I think
that goes more to the Deerfield High School people.
They're the ones that kind of organize it. The day in the fall where they go and go walk through their schedule.
Oh, is that
orientation?
Oh, excuse me, yes.
I would call that, yeah.
Freshman orientation, yes.
Okay, we can talk about freshman orientation. Do you want to start?
I can start. I'm actually the person that runs freshman orientation. At first I was looking at going, what is this? But it's our orientation day. So with that, I was like, I don't know what. So freshman orientation will be August 22nd. It's a Friday. I think I've got that date correct. Friday, August 22nd. You'll come Thursday the 21st at night for Warrior Welcome. And you'll get more information about that later if you haven't already. But then the kids come, just the kids only during the day. And they'll do everything from walk their schedule, go to their lockers, do their lockers, and don't worry, we don't leave until they can all open and close their lockers several times. They're with their advisory teacher, that's the kind of sections that they're in, and that's when they also move their senior advisor. So if you came to curriculum night in January, I talked in the auditorium a little bit about that, about the advisory program, and that's where those seniors will play a really crucial role in your child's first year at DHS. And then PTO gives them donuts and water. We take their ID photos. We buy books. It's really kind of a half day. We get our pictures taken as a group. It's just kind of like a whole half day. It's like from 8 to noon. We get to hear from the band. We do the DHS song together. We kind of teach them that a little bit. But it's just kind of like that introductory, so that they can like be in the halls by themselves, see the building by themselves, just in their group, with their seniors and their teacher, and kind of get a feel for things. That's it.
That's awesome. maybe I should pose this to the kids too. What do you think the major difference between DHS and middle school?
Well, there's definitely a lot of differences. The homework load is definitely, I think, is a bit different. You spend a lot more time than usual. There's a lot more opportunities and a lot more things for you to do. Like, I'm in 3 sports that I didn't play in middle school. There's lots of stuff that you can do.
You should really introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. I'm Katie Myler. I'm a freshman, obviously. I play lots of sports, and I'm in lots of clubs. One of them is softball.
I think like what Katie says, the homework load definitely goes up, and also I would say the quizzes and tests also go up, not only in the amount you have, but like the difficulty in it. But it definitely, like, the more you do, the more you realize you can do this, the more you get used to the strategies that the teachers use, or like the ways the teachers use. So definitely, I think it takes time to really get used to the quizzes and tests.
I kind of think, like, as you go up grades, like in middle school, there's a hop of difficulty, and the homework load gets a little more, you get more tests. It's a new curriculum, it gets harder, but as you go to high school, it's kind of like a double jump, and you get to that, and the homework load is going to get more, and the tests are going to get harder. It's important to have those strategies and that they're teaching in middle school, to have those to balance that all. But definitely the workload is increased as any, like, moving from year to year, but also you get more opportunities to improve in special things, like if I wanted to be an architect, I could now take an architect class, and you get to kind of find yourself in these small little sections at the school. And then sports, again, help you make friends. Like, it's different, the whole entire system, like the social scene, because you're not in one hall like Crusoe. It's 3 halls, and you don't really see much people besides the people in your grade. You're bigger people, taller people, smaller people. It's like, for me at first it was hard to find my friends, but definitely sports helped me find new people that I didn't know, and kind of find people I didn't know, and I could now find in the hall, and it got easier.
And also, like in my world history class, I have sophomores in it, and same with my geometry class, so they really helped me sometimes, or if I needed some help with high school in general, they would help me. So a lot of the classes that freshmen take, it's like other grades are in it, and in the hallways you see like seniors or juniors or sophomores, so it's not just like all freshmen.
How do you think it's different with the interaction between the students and the teachers? I guess I can answer this because I have a daughter who's a freshman, but what I found is that the teachers, they don't want to hear from parents. They want to talk to your students, and for the students to be responsible for themselves if they're having trouble. And they're very, very responsive to a request for, can you stay a little later, can I meet with you earlier? They email back and forth. I mean, Emma and her history teacher, there can be a dialogue going back and forth all night long, and I can't believe that he is that available, but he is. So there is sort of a hands-off from the parents' perspective, and as maybe some new high school parents, you'll be a little, it'll be different, but it's good. It is good.
Maybe Mrs. Church can speak to that a little
Sure.
bit too.
Actually, I wanted to get Katie's response, and then I'm happy to jump in. Well, I know that I definitely talk to teachers a lot more than in middle school. I think I maybe talk to like a teacher like once in middle school, but I talk to my teachers like every day. So the goldenrod handout that you got this evening is a lot of my thoughts
about just this very topic, about how high school is different from middle school. So obviously you won't have a chance to read all of it tonight, but you will have an opportunity to look through it as it applies to you. Like for example, the high school is on a completely different schedule than what the students are on now. So we start talking about cycle days. And what does that mean? Well, you know what? Cycle days are a little bit challenging for all of you, but as the kids start to live it, they know it. They begin to adopt and understand what cycle days mean. So if we say 100-day, that means all of their classes meet that day. If we say cycle 56, they know that periods 5 and 6 don't meet. So every day, 2 periods drop out. But I think overall, I think the message that's really important and was started to be touched upon is we start to treat them like young adults. They need to be more responsible. We give them more responsibility. They need to know, that their teachers are emailing them and they have to access email. They have to access websites. They're going to have to be responsible for a lot more technology next year. They're going to get a Chromebook, which you are going to pay for. And they're going to have to bring that to class all day long and make sure they know where that is. They're going to need an Inspired calculator, which they cannot recharge when they're in the building. It takes too long. So they have to recharge that calculator every night and make sure that battery's fully charged. So we really do work with them to treat them like adults. We don't expect it on day one. It's a process that we expect freshmen to adopt, to refine sophomore year, to be even more capable junior year, and then by senior year, you'll be amazed at how wonderfully responsible almost all of them are.
As a parent, I'm a parent and a middle school teacher. I teach in another district in Glenview, so I see the kids getting ready for middle school. I saw my own 2 children prepare for middle school. I have a freshman and a sophomore. And Glinda says the kids have to live their cycle days. And I wrote that down because the kids just, instead of just talking about being freshmen, they'll have to live it. And we always teach our parents in my district, and we talk about it here, that a transition means that they're going from one stage of life to another. And sometimes it's not beautiful. And sometimes there's a misstep. And there's a little fall. And it's through those little missteps that they learn from their teachers and hopefully a little bit from their parents, but mostly from their teachers, how they can ultimately attain success the next time or the time after that. And I used to tell parents this all the time, that the transition to high school means that it's a transition and it's not going to be perfect at first, but it's going to be full. I've seen, tons of kids go from middle school to high school, and the transitions are great, but that's why it's a transition.
And there are lots of people to help them with that transition. Brian is student activities director and also our freshman advisory coordinator. We have a whole freshman advisory program where students are there 4 days a week, and they have a freshman advisory teacher and at least 2 seniors with them. Everyone has a counselor. Everyone has a homeroom teacher. There's so many people to help your kids make that transition smoother. So you'll get to see them. You'll get to see many of them either on parent night or at freshman orientation, and begin to get to know them and develop a relationship with them as well.
You want to add something about transition or incoming teachers?
One is, you talked about Mr. Visario as my advisory teacher. And when I got to DHS, I saw the schedule and I'm like, I just see a bunch of blocks. I don't know what to do with that. But I never, as middle school, I heard the bell, I went to my next period. But you have to keep track of time. You memorize, you find the different times, and it's hard to figure that out at the beginning because you're so used to just going one period to the next. And having the advisory and the seniors in there really helped as I started to figure it out, and what times I had free, what times I had to go to class, and how to plan out so I could get to each class.
And now who's better at it, you or me?
Me.
You're right. 7 years at DHS. But it's true, like they totally adapt so sometimes in class I'm like, wait, what time is class on today? What time is it? They're like, it's April, Mr. V, it's 9:29, and I'm like, okay, sorry. But I mean, like, you know, I still do it. So I mean, but they've got it, like they do, they pick on, and you're gonna look at that schedule, and you're gonna see, because we'll give them like, they're going to do a color-coded thing in advisory where they color-code when their classes are and what, and you're going to look at it and go, a madman made this up. Like, this is insane. And don't worry, they'll be fine. Because I just go to the seniors, can you help them? Because I get confused myself sometimes. But the kids get it so quickly, they pick up on it pretty good.
And also the lunch is actually really confusing at times because sometimes there's not a bell for when lunch ends or begins, or like the class after lunch when it begins or ends. And so it's really confusing sometimes because you can easily miss your class. So you kind of have to know what time your class starts and what time your lunch ends so you can get to class on time. So I think that's another big difference.
Did you have something to add to?
Just talking about senior advisors, they're really helpful just because like they're another face in school, and I think it was my second day of school, and I had no idea where this class is, and I see my senior advisor, Sarah, where do I go? She gave me directions, and it's just really helpful to have someone else there who's like been through this, and they know like all the like freshman problems,
And there's so many things that, you know, just to get the kids ready, and I turn this back to Mrs. Hirsch, summer school and camp and such.
You talk about the dates?
Or
just,
oh, yes, yeah.
But one of the things I also wanted to point out is, and maybe you can contrast with me, what we offer at the high school is so many more activities. I mean, it's not just sports, it's fine arts, it's stage crew, it's book club. I mean, again, Brian knows them all, and we probably have, I don't know, 70 or 80 options for kids to get involved, both before school and after school. So some of it is, you know, like for those of you who went to Something for Everyone night the other night, you can see there's such a wide variety of things to do. Sometimes we have to help kids get involved, and sometimes we have to help kids manage all the things that they've said they wanted to join.
Yeah, I'm very jealous about the activity, and I would like to go myself and just kind of sign up for everything that you have to offer. Because I agree that at Cruise and Shepherd, we are limited. We only have that much space. We only have that many faculty members, sponsors, and so on. And I do hear from former students that they have found that club, that activity. They found their niche, and it's really exciting. Because I knew that all they needed was to find that group that they can resonate with, that they get along with, and once they find that, other pieces come to play, and everything seems to fall in its place because they found that little niche. So I'm jealous of what DHS has to offer, but it's understandable. It's a bigger school.
And I think that's one of the things I always want when I talk to parents or students, that I want the one takeaway that I hope you go away with is like, find one thing you love. It's not about finding 20, 30 different activities to do. It's finding one thing that you truly love and get involved in and be a part of for 4 years. And so, and that's where I think that a lot of the kids will find, like, yeah, classes are great, academics are so important, but so are those extracurriculars. And that's really going to help with that social aspect. And like we know, research has shown us from all over the world that involved kids do better. And they perform better at school academically when they're involved and they do things. And it doesn't mean that they have to be able, again, not a million things, but just finding that one thing that they truly can like dive into and love.
And one thing that's great about DHS is both my kids were able to join things before the school year started. My kids are both in the marching band, and they started the marching band a week early, so they're already on campus with their old friends from the Shepherd or Crusoe, meeting new people, and they both felt on the first day of school that they had, I don't want to say they were already at an advantage, because that's not a really good word, but they already just felt just a little bit comfortable. So I know they have, in summer schools at DHS, I know that because my son's taking 2 classes there. So with summer school, and as a middle school teacher, I would always tell my 8th grade students, find a summer school course and take it if you can. If you don't have other obligations or other commitments, find anything you can take at summer school, especially if it's at DHS this year. The kids get there, they meet up with people they know from their one school, meet up with kids from Bannockburn or the other Deerfield High School, and it's just such a great way to get them in there. I am so grateful that my kids had something even before the school year started. Whether it's marching band or a lot of my son's friends around cross country, and it was just, I think to this day, it has made their admission to school so much better. So.
Did any of the 3 of you start something before school year started?
Yeah. I joined summer school. I did art classes over the summer, and I think it really helped me on the first day of school because I was from Bannockburn, so I knew 10 people at most. But it really helped me on the first day of school because I found someone I could sit at lunch with, and that's actually where I met Katie. So yeah, it's really good to join different activities that you can find people, especially before school starts, to meet new people.
I did graphic design over the summer with 2 of my friends. And that was really great for me because I got my fine art out of the way. But also I got to meet new people, and I got to learn about this graphic stuff. And I also did lots of sports camps. Like I did basketball camp, which is a big thing. And if any kids are coming from middle school to play high school basketball, they're very big on emphasizing because it's based. A lot of coaches look at you from how you played it in the summer, and I met a lot of the Shepherd kids. I maybe saw them once or time in travel teams, but I got to know them through these summer camps and other people from Bannockburn, and that continued on when I before the year I did marching band. I did soccer in the beginning of the year, and we would always play right next to the marching band, so we got a little musical, got a little musical or playing, and that was always fun. But it's definitely good to get involved in sports and outside activities. Doing sports, that's the best time I feel in high school because I'm active, I feel good, I feel healthy, I'm working hard, I'm succeeding in the sports, and everything seems to fall into place. Maybe I don't have that much time to do homework, but it seems which it sounds bad. The last
We have to help the freshmen with that too.
It's a crazy process, but doing sports, and then I got my energy out. I can sit down, do my homework, and go to bed, do the next day over and over. And if I'm not doing that sport, I'm I'll just watch TV for an hour, eat some chips, and I'm it's 11 o'clock. I'm oh, I have homework. So definitely doing sports helps me fit in everything. It organizing wise, it helps me everything settle in.
Even if you're not a sport person, there's so many different clubs and such that happen after school, in the evenings, every day.
Absolutely. So I want you to, if you take a look at that salmon-colored form with me, I've listed some of the important dates for you to know into the summer and fall, so that as you're starting to plan your summer vacations, you don't bump into some of the August dates. So, of course, we talked about summer school and the summer sports camps. The fall tryouts are August 13th. So if any of your sons or daughters plan to do that, you have to make sure that you have the permit card and the physical in before the 13th. Otherwise, they won't be able to try out, and that gets messy. So that's an important date. Student schedules are going to be on Infinite Campus around August 8th. Infinite Campus is what we use to tell you lots and lots of information, including what your kids are eating in the cafeteria. You may or may not want to know that. Once your son or daughter gets their schedule, they can bring it into the building. The building is open. It's a wonderful way for them to walk the building, make sure they understand how to get around. They'll do the same thing at Warrior Welcome, but there's just a nice feel for being able to walk with you around the building so that they get a understanding of where everything is. We talked about that Warrior Welcome parent orientation. That's Thursday night, August 21st. Lots and lots of freshman parents come. You'll have an opportunity to meet your son or daughter's counselor. We'll walk you through the advisory process, and we're going to walk you through what's going to happen the next day when your son or daughter comes by themselves to the big high school. Then freshman orientation and what that includes. Wednesday, August 27th, a very, very important day, first day of high school for them. Wednesday, August 27th, and that's a full day of school. And then I run a freshman morning parent series once a quarter. I have you come, invite you to come to the high school, and we talk about important dates for the quarter, things that you need to know that are happening for your freshmen in smaller chunks. And then the kickoff dance is Friday, August 29th, tentatively, and all the freshmen go. They come looking really good, and they leave looking really sweaty because they're dancing, they're having a blast.
It's like a song.
It's very casual. It's a casual day.
It's like a song.
It's kind of just like.
And everybody's just running around, and you leave like pouring with sweat.
But so fun.
But it was really fun.
Right. We usually have about 850 to 1,000 kids at the dance. It's our most popular one of the year because it's kind of like everyone's kind of back, but it's a t-shirt and shorts because depending on the weather, if it's 100 degrees that day, that's what it is in the exhibition gym. And so yeah, it's a blast. But I always get a phone call, 1 or 2 phone calls a year, ask me about that Warrior Welcome. But I've got a family vacation planned, and does my son or daughter have to be there? And okay, well, no, they don't have to be there. But just as somebody who's been doing this now for a while, it adds so much stress if your child isn't there. It's additional stress onto that first day because that 22nd now, they will be the only person in their advisory that didn't get to meet and talk and knows who their teacher is and got to meet the seniors. So I know that some people might already have summer vacation plans already set, but if you can, please, I just try and stress that so much, that it's such a great day to be there, to be at school, to learn some names, learn some people, some familiar faces, so that when they will get to walk in on that first full day on the 27th going, wait, I know for sure where one of my classes are because I've been there and I know every kid who's in it because we've already met and played some games together, and I even know 2 seniors. So just please, that 22nd is so important. Tell your friends.
However, as a parent, they will hear absolutely nothing about that day. Other than it was fine.
We had donuts.
I didn't even know that.
There.
I had 2 go through that 2 years in a row. You will hear nothing about that day. And the more you ask, it's not going to help. But I'm glad to know it's such a great day. That's the first time I've heard of what you guys do. But they all got to their classes.
And one of the ways I think that, like, when you see that your student, your child is comfortable and that they seem at ease, then you're going to feel at ease and everything is great. And there's so many things, like Mrs. Hirsch was saying, how there are the parent meetings that she hosts monthly. There are all kinds of programs. There are the Deerfield Parent Network programs. There are sporting events, etc., for you to get involved with the whole Deerfield High School environment.
The only thing that we didn't mention at that time, that first full day, will be also an extended homeroom. So not only will your freshmen be in a freshman advisory class, but there'll also be an extended homeroom that day. It's usually around 30, 40 minutes that first day. So that's another kind of time where everybody just kind of stops and goes, okay, wait, do you know where you're going next? Do you know your schedule? How can we help you? And it's just kind of like another helpful, they'll have that teacher. The fun thing about homeroom is you get to meet them their first day, and then I have juniors, and I've been with them for 3 years, and then I'll also be the first person to shake their hands when they leave the stage for graduation. And so that's kind of I'm there for their first day freshman year, and I get to be there for their last moment at DHS. So that's kind of the thing that's kind of exciting about homeroom. I know sometimes kids are like, oh, homeroom 12 minutes a day. But, as they get older and as kind of go through it, it really becomes this kind of like great relationship, and it can be a really great relationship and experience between that staff member and those students that are in there. And there's always approximately around, like I have 17 kids in my homeroom, so it's a small number. It never really goes over 18. And every staff members, all types of staff members are there. So everything from the principal has a homeroom, to some of our maintenance workers have homerooms, to staff members, assistants. Anyone who wants a homeroom can have a homeroom. That's a staff member, not anybody else.
That is great. And I guess I should turn this back again to the folks from Deerfield High School. There are so many other things about the counselors, about getting to know your child's counselor.
Absolutely. So the way counselors generally get assigned is the students get assigned to an advisory, and then the counselor is assigned to that advisory. And really all of us try within the first quarter to meet all of our freshmen individually. So they'll have an opportunity to sit down one-on-one, know where their office is, ask any questions, and for us to get to know your son or daughter, which is really helpful. And then we actually go to advisory often and participate in some of the beginning activities. So there's a really nice flow with the freshmen with their counselors.
What are some things students-wise that you've worked out with your counselor with?
Well, I meet with Mrs. Hirsch weekly, and we just have talks, and I just like being able to talk to her and have an adult have a problem, I can go to her, just talk about anything you want to, anything that's bothering you. She's always there.
It blows my mind that they're a counselor for a lot of students, maybe 100 students, probably not that many, but they have a lot of students, but they still know you, and they can still sit down and have a conversation and remember you later. You come, they may have this. I have Mr. Beaumont, and I'll see, I've had one conversation with him, and I'm like, is he still going to remember me? And he's like, oh, how's basketball? And we had this surreal conversation about, what he remembered, and just, it's constant developing of, he's helping me with my classes, and we're getting to know each other better. And, the fact that I can't even remember, that many people's names, and he remembers, detailed facts about, 100 students.
I think for me was, so in the middle of your freshman year, you do a 4-year planning with your counselor, which is you plan out the next 4 years in high school. So I wanted to become a senior teacher my senior year, and I asked my counselor what do I need to do, what are the steps I need to take to become a senior teacher. So she told me, okay, you need to fill out an application, you need to email your teacher, you need to do all this stuff your junior year, and she really helped me figure out what I need to do to actually become one, instead of just saying, oh, I want to do this, and just kind of let it happen. She really just made it made me feel confident that it would happen.
Sorry. Yeah, I think that the counselors are infinitely helpful, and they do make the kids feel so warm and welcome, and there is somebody for them to go to. One I found was I reached out to my daughter's counselor just ahead of time. I think maybe it was a week after school started, or maybe before school started. I don't remember. There was something in some packet suggesting that it's a good idea to just send an email to kind of touch base, and I thought that was very helpful. And so she knew Emma right away, and she knew me right away. And so when I've introduced myself, even what Brayden was saying, that the counselors remember him. Sometimes the counselors actually even remember you when you're in the hallway for some meeting or whatever, and that blows your mind. So, and the counselors are really good about striking a balance and helping your child decide, okay, I've got to get my act together and make sure that I've got time for sports, and I've got time for the play, or I've got time for mathletes or band or orchestra or whatever they do, or maybe they do all of them. That's impressive, but sometimes. happens. And do you have advice about getting to know the kids' parents and kind of reaching out in the age of the digital world where our kids are always on their phones, and so we really don't get to know other parents all that well?
So again, in your goldenrod packet, I have a list of ways for parents to become more comfortable with the high school as well, because your kids are going to come, they're going to get engaged, they're going to be so happy as school starts, they're going to see all their friends, they're going to be ready to go. And so what can you do? What are some suggestions? So I've written down several of them. One of the things I think you're going to find most helpful, and I imagine you're doing this now to some extent with your middle schools, but watching the Deerfield High School website is going to be incredibly important to you, because I would bookmark it, I would get on there probably a couple of times a week, because you're not going to get any mailings anymore. Everything that's going to happen is going to come to you either via email or by you watching the website. So much information there. Maybe when you get home tonight or sometime this weekend, just sort of tootle around under the parents bar and see all the programs that we're offering, all the events that the high school hosts. So that would be very important for you. Also, our principal, Audrey Griffith, she is outstanding, and she runs I think it's a quarterly lunch program. I would very much encourage you, even if you're working in Deerfield, take that hour off, come to school. She sits down and you can ask her any question you like. And she fields all the questions. She's incredibly knowledgeable, so warm. So I would encourage you to definitely take advantage of that. And it gives you an opportunity to hear about what other parents are thinking about. It gives you a chance to network, because as you get to high school, you know, your kids start to meet other kids and you didn't know them before. And so you might have an opportunity to meet some new parents as well. So those are probably the two biggest pieces of advice that I have for you to get involved in high school.
And what I did was, it's a little bit hard for me to come to the daytime program, so I was sort of the invisible parent at Walden. I was never there, and I think I only made a couple cameo appearances at Shepherd. So right away I joined the band committee, and my daughter couldn't believe it. And it was so great to join something at a school for the first time as a parent and not as a teacher. And it seems as if almost every bigger organization there needs parent help. So whatever your kids are involved in, see if there's just a tiny way for you to wiggle in there, because they're really going to start talking a lot less about school. And even mine, who are sort of chatty, I really hear very little about what's going on. But when I get in there a little bit, I get to meet some of the teachers, and but you know, I'm not sneaking around. I'm doing what the teachers or what because I don't do that. But I'm not. But I'm in there helping the teachers or the band director. I hear my son's in the fencing club, and I still don't quite understand it, even though he's been there for a year. And I feel like next year I'll probably be a parent who helps out. I had no idea there were concession stands at the fencing club. So it's really a great thing. Whatever your kids are doing, see what it is the high school needs from you. It's been great, and it's been wonderful to see, you know, the people I know already, and to meet all of these parents of my kids' friends. It's great.
I have here, and Mrs. Hirschman talked about this as well, about do not focus your high school experience yet on college yet. They're just entering high school, and a lot of people get very excited. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So as we're really trying to help the freshmen focus on study skills, on academics, on joining activities, hopefully finding some new friends. That's really, in general, what the freshman year is about. We don't spend any time really talking about college. We do spend a little bit of time on it, as Stella said, when we get to the four-year plan, which is generally in November and December, so that they're sure to keep their options open as we start to plan for courses sophomore, junior, and senior year. But as you get towards the end of the sophomore year, we'll definitely start the discussion with you about college planning. So if you can work with us to help your kids develop study skills, organizational skills, help them join some clubs, because we're certainly going to do that, that would be a tremendous freshman year.
Absolutely. That's great. In addition to all the programs that are for the kids and the parents, Deerfield High School also has a grandparent program, which is awesome. Amazing.
We started that about, we've had senior grandparents for a very long time. For the seniors, we invite their grandparents or a significant person in their lives to come just before Thanksgiving. And there's a day for them to come and just enjoy being with their grandchildren, going to classes, hearing a concert. So we started with the grandparents of seniors, and now we've expanded where we have programs for all 4 years. So we're realizing that the grandparents want ways to be connected to their grandchildren, so we're providing them with opportunities to see what their grandchildren are doing every day.
And just like what Ms. Robbins was saying, like how she wants to go to activity nights, my mother wanted to go to English. She really, really wanted to stay in the class. I was like, okay, you gotta go.
The grandparents in the hallway that day, it's so priceless.
Yeah.
It cracks me up. I
And
walk
they're
down
so
the-
slow.
5-minute passing periods are just full that day.
Maybe you can also tell us, Mr. Torres, about homecoming also.
Okay. Yes,
Because
we
I know
have a
that's something
homecoming
we're-
date already for
Yes.
next year, which lots of people always like to know. It is that the homecoming football game will be Friday, May 10th, and the date or October. Sorry, October 10th. I'm gonna get it over with now. Make my fall easier. No, October 10th, and with the dance on Saturday, October 11th. So, but what will happen is that week beforehand is kind of like there'll be dress-up days. The weekend before, student council comes in and decorates the school. It's just always kind of like when kids see the school for the first time coming in, like from floor to ceiling, it's decorated, and it really is a lot of fun. So yes, if you already know your calendar for the fall, that is Columbus Day in October. That is Columbus Day weekend, and it was one of our only options, so it is that. But it definitely will be a lot of fun. We encourage and we will talk to the kids about participating, dressing up, having a good time, and just coming out and cheering our team.
Do you still do that homecoming 101 night?
Oh yeah, I talked to one of the. I can't remember who runs.
Well, I'm going to tell you that it was the most fun I've had as a parent at DHS. We did it. Where the principal was, and you a couple of years ago came out and he explained everything about homecoming. Not just about the class, but about the dance and expectations.
I think I did that this year.
It was during the day. Okay.
Was it during the day?
Yeah. You should go. It was so much fun. It was almost as fun as It's a great night. Very informative. Very honest.
Well, I know that we have touched upon a lot of these things already, but balancing demands and all sorts of